pace forges an intimate connection with Chloe, crafted almost entirely through Carla Yuri's subtly heartbreaking performance. Her portrayal is nuanced details that color Chloe's days. The narrative may take its time, but it's in this lingering that Gray allows the textures of Chloe's world to come alive, the food she savors, the flowers she encounters, and the atmosphere that surrounds her. Every element is thoughtfully depicted, immersing the audience in her internal and external landscapes. This attention to detail lends the film a tangible quality, where even the most mundane moments are imbued with a quiet beauty that lingers long after the scene fades. Welcome to Caption Media. Today, we bring you a non-spoiler review of the film I'll Be Your Mirror, 2024, a drama that delves deep into the emotional landscapes of grief. Written and directed by Bradley Rust Gray, this visually stunning piece of cinema weaves a delicate narrative around the profound struggle to embrace life fully when the shadows of past tragedies still linger in one's very being. It's a film that doesn't merely tell a story but rather immerses you in the lingering echoes of loss, evoking both beauty and melancholy in equal measure. In Blood, Bradley Rust Gray crafts an evocative and deeply introspective narrative that explores the quiet aftermath of love and loss. The film invites viewers into the world of Chloe, where every detail, from the scent of flowers to the taste of food, carries the weight of her emotions. With its languid pace and minimal dialogue, Blood is less about grand gestures and more about the subtle, almost imperceptible shifts in a grieving heart. Anchored by Carla Yuri's exquisitely nuanced performance, the film becomes a poignant meditation on the textures of life as Chloe navigates her sorrow and seeks solace in the beauty of the everyday. Narrative and structure. Without giving away any spoilers, it's important to note that I'll Be Your Mirror is not a straightforward narrative. The plot is deliberately fragmented, mirroring the fractured psyche of the protagonist. The story unfolds in a non-linear fashion, blending memories, dreams, and distorted realities. For viewers accustomed to traditional storytelling, this may prove challenging. The film demands your full attention, inviting you to piece together the puzzle of the protagonist's journey. However, while this complexity adds layers to the narrative, it also risks alienating some viewers. The film's refusal to provide clear answers or a conventional storyline can be both its greatest strength and its biggest flaw. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it encourages deep contemplation, but on the other, it can feel frustratingly obscure. There's a fine line between thought-provoking and perplexing, and I'll Be Your Mirror occasionally teeters into the latter. Bradley Rust Gray's Blood is a meditative journey that delves into the delicate interplay of love, loss, and the quiet moments that lie between. This film, anchored by a subtle yet compelling performance from Carla Yuri, is as much an exercise in observation as it is in storytelling. However, while it has moments of undeniable beauty, the film ultimately struggles to balance its aesthetic aspirations with its emotional core. The narrative of Blood revolves around Chloe, who navigates the aftermath of a profound loss. Gray masterfully captures the texture of Chloe's world, focusing on the sensory details, the food, the flowers, the scents, that paint a vivid picture of her everyday existence. This attention to detail gives the film a tactile quality that immerses the viewer in Chloe's experiences. The way Gray captures these quotidian encounters and minute action speaks volumes about the character's internal state. Yuri's performance is heartbreakingly understated, allowing her character's fragility and resilience to shine through the film's quiet moments. However, Blood is not without its flaws. The film's observational style, while evocative, comes at the expense of narrative momentum. The story meanders, creating a sense of stasis rather than progression. Where one might expect Chloe's journey to lead to some form of catharsis, the film instead settles into a kind of emotional limbo. This may leave some viewers feeling unsatisfied, as the film's lack of dramatic development prevents it from reaching the emotional heights it aspires to. Gray's direction is singular in its purpose, but the film's low-key and meditative approach might be too subdued for some audiences. The deliberate pacing and restrained style risk alienating those who prefer more narrative drive. That said, there is a boldness in Gray's choice to focus on the minutiae of life rather than conventional storytelling. His commitment to this style, even at the cost of broader appeal, is commendable, though it may not be to everyone's taste. Despite these shortcomings, Blood offers a tender exploration of human connection at a time when such bonds feel particularly precious. The film's gentle rhythms and Yuri's performance provide a salve for viewers willing to embrace its slow burn. Yet, while the film is beautifully observed, it never quite arrives at its intended emotional destination. The pretty images and quiet moments can only carry the film so far, and by the end, one is left with the feeling that Chloe, and the story itself, should have moved on to something more. In conclusion, Blood is a film of contrasts, visually rich yet narratively sparse, emotionally potent yet frustratingly inert. It's a film nature, the masks we wear, and the reflections we see of ourselves, whether truthful or distorted. The mirror motif is omnipresent, serving as a metaphor for self-examination, but also for the illusions we create. Yet, the film doesn't stop there. It also touches on the concept of memory, questioning the reliability of our recollections and how they shape our identities. This interplay between reality and illusion is fascinating, but it's also where the film risks overreaching. At times, the symbolism feels heavy-handed, almost as if the film is trying too hard to be profound. It's a delicate balance, and while I'll Be Your Mirror mostly succeeds, there are moments when the thematic depth feels more like thematic density. Cinematography and visual aesthetics. Visually, I'll Be Your Mirror is stunning. The cinematography is nothing short of masterful, capturing the ethereal and unsettling atmosphere that pervades the film. The director employs a diverse range of visual techniques to convey the protagonist's disoriented state of mind, from distorted lenses to stark contrasts in lighting. Every frame feels meticulously crafted, contributing to the film's overall sense of unease. The color palette deserves special mention. The use of muted tones juxtaposed with sudden bursts of vibrant color effectively underscores the film's themes of reality versus illusion. The interplay of light and shadow is particularly striking, creating a visual metaphor for the duality of the human experience. However, while the visuals are captivating, they sometimes overshadow the narrative, leading to sequences that are more about aesthetic than storytelling. This can lead to a sense of style over substance, where the film's beauty doesn't quite compensate for its narrative opacity. Themes and symbolism. One of the central themes of I'll Be Your Mirror is the exploration of identity. The film asks, who are we when stripped of the personas we present to the world? It delves into the duality of human nature, the masks we wear, and the reflections we see of ourselves, whether truthful or distorted. The mirror motif is omnipresent, serving as a metaphor for self-examination, but also for the illusions we create. Yet, the film doesn't stop there. It also touches on the concept of memory, questioning the reliability of our recollections and how they shape our identities. This interplay between reality and illusion is fascinating, but it's also where the film risks overreaching. At times, the symbolism feels heavy-handed, almost as if the film is trying too hard to be profound. It's a delicate balance, and while I'll Be Your Mirror mostly succeeds, there are moments when the thematic depth feels more like thematic density. Cinematography and visual aesthetics. Visually, I'll Be Your Mirror is stunning. The cinematography is nothing short of masterful, capturing the ethereal and unsettling atmosphere that pervades the film. The director employs a diverse range of visual techniques to convey the protagonist's disoriented state of mind, from distorted lenses to stark contrasts in lighting. Every frame feels meticulously crafted, contributing to the film's overall sense of unease. The color palette deserves special mention. The use of muted tones juxtaposed with sudden bursts of vibrant color effectively underscores the film's themes of reality versus illusion. The interplay of light and shadow is particularly striking, creating a visual metaphor for the duality of the human experience. However, while the visuals are captivating, they sometimes overshadow the narrative, leading to sequences that are more about aesthetic than storytelling. This can lead to a sense of style over substance, where the film's beauty doesn't quite compensate for its narrative opacity. Performances and characterization. The performances in I'll Be Your Mirror are largely commendable. The lead actor delivers a powerful portrayal of a person grappling with the unraveling of their own identity. There's a palpable sense of vulnerability and confusion in their performance, which anchors the film's more abstract elements. Their ability to convey complex emotions with subtlety is one of the film's highlights. However, the supporting cast doesn't fare quite as well. Their characters, while integral to the plot, feel underdeveloped. They often serve as mere reflections of the protagonist's inner turmoil rather than fully fleshed-out individuals. This lack of character depth makes it difficult to fully engage with the emotional stakes of the story. Additionally, the dialogue, while philosophically rich, sometimes veers into the realm of pretentiousness, distancing the audience from the character's genuine emotions. Direction and pacing. The director Bradley Russ Gray's vision is evident throughout the film, but it's also where the movie's flaws become most apparent. The pacing is deliberate, perhaps too deliberate. There are stretches where the film seems to meander, lingering on abstract imagery and philosophical musings at the expense of plot progression. For viewers with a taste for introspective cinema, this may be appealing. However, for those expecting a more dynamic narrative, the film's slow pace can be a test of patience. That said, the director's commitment to exploring complex themes is admirable. There's a clear intention behind every shot, every line of dialogue. The problem arises when this intention becomes too opaque, leaving the audience more confused than enlightened. The film is at its best when it strikes a balance between its cerebral ambitions and the need for narrative clarity. Unfortunately, it doesn't always achieve this balance. Overall impact and conclusion. So, where does this leave I'll Be Your Mirror 2024 in the grand scheme of contemporary cinema? It's a film that will undoubtedly polarize audiences. On one hand, it's a visually striking and thematically ambitious work that challenges viewers to think deeply about identity, perception, and reality. On the other hand, its tendency to prioritize symbolism over storytelling may leave some viewers
too much. Human being always think too much. You're thinking too much. Too much. You're thinking too much.
When